Okay, good. I hope that everyone is fine. So how is everyone going?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Edwin, how is Semarang? Still flooding over there? You don't know.
Uh,
We don't know yet because you
yeah.
might be in different town. Where are you in Central Java, Edwin?
Yes, in Central Java, sir. And Banyumani.
Yeah, exactly. Uh,
Banyumani.
what town? Banyumani. Oh, Banyumani is Semarang, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is it still flooding?
No, it's not flooding here, sir. It's the uh, the one who are which are flooding is in the lower part of Semarang,
Oh, yeah,
around
not too
Simpang
bad.
Lima and etc.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that is everyday's life problem in
Yeah.
Semarang, I believe, because I used to be I used to visit Semarang and I passed through the roads over there. What do we call that? The Pantura Road, yeah, in Semarang. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I hope that everyone in different towns in Central Java and also in East Java, UNESA, UNES students are fine because these days the weathers are sometimes out of our prediction. So, so hope you are healthy every day and you know. Free from Corona, COVID-19. All right. So today we'll have discussion. So I would present topic on frameworks for developing language skills and also language components. So first of all, I would like to draw your attention on the PCO of our class. If you look at the PCO, I hope that everyone has a PCO. If we look at our PCO, we'll find that we have many days, many meetings for discussing frameworks. I'd like to share my screen here. So just a reminder, basic course outline 2021 here. For meeting 5, yeah, frameworks for developing language skills, framework for developing reading materials, that's meeting 6, and I would give you a summative test in meeting 7. But I think summative test shouldn't be 3 credits, you know. It should be only at least 90 minutes. So it doesn't have to be full 3 credits, 150 minutes. But it may change, you know, the place. It may change the time when we will have summative test. Meeting 8, framework for developing listening materials. Meeting 9, framework for developing speaking, writing, and so on. So, and then you start developing the project, yeah, in meeting 11. But what I want what I would like to introduce today is everything. Is everything. I would like to introduce you to the files, and we can discuss the frameworks while we are developing our materials, your project. So it's not going to be like the PCO 100% that one day version of the day we'll devote our time 150 minutes for developing discussing frameworks for developing language skills, because these frameworks are for us to use, for us to refer to when we are developing our learning materials, as they are only used as the basis, while our target is actually the work. So you can actually refer to these frameworks while doing your work. So in that sense, we'll have so much time for working on our developing on our learning materials, on our developing materials project. Yeah, so that's the idea. Yeah, so even though we have devoted different meetings for discussing the framework, we can always refer to this any time for our basis, our theoretical foundation in developing learning materials. What does that mean? That means today I will introduce you to the files, and in the coming days, coming meetings, you don't need to discuss this framework, but what you need to do is to continue working with your project. Yeah. So in other words, I would like to have the project started earlier. So if you look at the plan here, you'll start writing your project in meeting 11. That will be too late. Yeah, that will be too late. You will need more time to make your project materials development better. Yeah. So the project workshop can start very early in meeting 6. What about summative test? I think we can always negotiate with the time for summative test. Yeah. When you are ready for sub-summative test, then I'll give you the summative test. It's going to be a theoretical assessment, how you understand the concepts, theories on materials development. So it's mostly, well, a bit recall and a bit critical analysis. All right. So I have already posted the frameworks in Google Classroom. So I hope that everyone can see this one. So if we look at that one, PowerPoint here, these PowerPoints, framework for developing writing materials, and framework for developing speaking materials, framework for developing reading materials, framework for developing listening materials, and lastly, framework for developing language components. These frameworks are for us, to help us develop our project well, to help us. This is only as the basis, as the foundation. Okay, these frameworks are actually taken from our main books, Azarnus et al. And Timis, Mission and Timis. I hope that everyone get it from the Google Drive that I have already sent shared with you in the first meeting of our this semester. All right, so let's have a look at these frameworks. So I have already opened framework for developing materials for teaching language components. But let's open everything here. Let's open everything. Let's open another framework. So I have already opened that one, and I would like to open this one, framework for developing reading materials. Let me open it just to give you a preview. Framework for developing speaking materials, and lastly, framework for developing writing materials. We've got so many frameworks. Okay. Now, what is a framework? Framework is, the way that you think about something. This is a framework. So, as I said earlier, frameworks are important for us to guide our activities. Yeah. Okay. So to guide our activities, as they are used as the basis for our actions, and they can always be used. They can always be read, yeah, and then also understood for the first time, and then we can implement this framework later in our actions. However, there has to also to be an interaction, yeah, with the framework while you are doing your action. So a constant interaction between your action and framework, always consulting while doing the project will be a very good practice to make your work better. Now, logically, language learning, if you follow the language acquisition theory, child language acquisition theory, for example, you always start with spoken language. You always start with auditory skills. You always start with listening. Yeah. Why? Because that is the first time that, for example, a baby gets inputs to activate their LAD, language acquisition device, in the brain. Yeah. Without spoken language, child, yeah, for example, a baby who has hearing impairment, yeah, will be numb also. So the baby cannot produce, finally cannot produce anything, yeah, because of not hearing the input, the language. Yeah. Okay, so logically, learning a language starts with spoken language, yeah, with auditory skills, listening, and then producing the language, speaking, and then you start to be introduced to the written language through reading, yeah, and finally, this is an advanced situation even for culture that is what, writing, yeah. For a culture to be called advanced culture, yeah, advanced civilization, yeah, there has to be what we call written artifact, yeah, written language activities. Without that, then they are not called civilized, advanced civilization. Yeah. So this is why writing is always comes very late in our in a child's language development. Now the problem is the issue with language component. Yeah. So language component, do language component come early or later, or should actually language component be taught separately, or should it become part of other language skills? And that's also an issue that you can discuss. Okay. So if you look at the BCO, yeah, you should start with language component. Yeah, but there is a problem in that. Yeah, you still remember one of the major principles of materials development that we discussed last week. Yeah, one of them is the material should also have a focus on form. Yeah, focus on form is actually focusing on the accuracy. Yeah, the accuracy of language production. If you are producing spoken language, then the accuracy will usually deal with pronunciation and intonation, yeah, stress, pronunciation, stress, intonation. Yeah, the both the segmental and supra-segmental phonemes. Yeah, yeah, pronunciation. Yeah, the language component of spoken language, listening and speaking. Yeah. Vocabulary, yeah, is usually part of learning in listening and in reading. Yeah, and grammar. Yeah, this is that is part of the major principles. Yeah, focus on form. There has to also to be aspect of grammar. Yeah, that becomes attention, yeah, for the students to learn, yeah, about. Yeah, and this is what we call focus on form. Focus on form means focusing on the accuracy, and focus on meaning is focusing on non-accuracy but understanding. Yeah. As I said, should we start talking about the language component first? Actually, it should actually be put late. Yeah. While in my PCO, it is put in the first place. Yeah. It should actually be late. I'm sorry for my mistake here. Why? Because materials for teaching pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar should be part of materials for teaching listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Yeah. Why? Yeah, because what is it? Teaching language component in isolation is meaningless. Yeah. Why? Because language is for making meaning, and if the activities are meaningless, then it is very unlikely to result in an outcome. Yeah. Special sections in listening, speaking, reading, writing materials can be devoted to teaching pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. Yes, you can make special sections in that. Yeah. When you teach listening, for example, you can draw students' attention on a certain form in the spoken language to learn to. When you teach speaking, you can also focus on a certain spoken form for the students to practice, for example, and so on and so forth. Yeah, yeah, special section, yeah, on pronunciation, on vocabulary, and on grammar. Yeah, you have to remember that in our Indonesian curriculum, yeah, there is a special mention of language features of particular text types. Yeah, so If you look at the KD, I think everyone has already quoted the KDs for everyone's project, yeah. And every KD, not every, but especially the 3-point, yeah, KD, yeah, the third KD will usually include the word language feature, yeah. Fungsi sosial, struktur teks, and dan unsur kebahasaan. Yeah. So that is why pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar in Indonesian school context is also the focus. Yeah. You can think of the ways to teach pronunciation from different textbooks, of course, yeah. But of course, pronunciation per se, yeah, we call it what is it? Pronunciation intensive materials, yeah, has become not the attention now, yeah, except in a special English teacher education program. So yes, you do have pronunciation practice class, for example, but in our daily English courses, there is no special English pronunciation class. This is only devoted for us, for example, teacher education programs, because the teachers need to be aware of pronunciation aspects and need to be able to later draw students' attention on special pronunciation features, yeah, that they that is why there is a special class on pronunciation. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, there is no no place for that. Yeah. Okay. In everyday English, for example, English courses, there is no special pronunciation. Well, I have put here quoting Azanus et al. These specialized intensive materials, pronunciation intensive materials, have played a much smaller role. So yes, they are there, they are used, but it's becoming minimum in their roles in the English classes. Yeah. Okay. Pronunciation materials should be based on 3 general principles. Yeah, they should emphasize intelligibility. Yeah? So the pronunciation materials should actually include all English varieties, but the intelligible ones, of course. Yeah, and then the recording, for example, yeah, has to be intelligible. Intelligible means can be understood, can be heard. Yeah, can be understood. Yeah, I think that's one of the key issues in the current English as international language. Yeah, whether you can understand somebody's English, yeah, through their pronunciation. Yeah. Well, yeah, varieties, accents, for example, are not problem at the moment. Yeah. So the pronunciation, major pronunciation, for example, if you say not cut but cut, yeah, of course everyone will not be wouldn't understand your English. Then that is not intelligible. Yeah. They should explicitly connect to other language skills. So this is the framework here. So it should be part of other skills. Yeah. As I said, there is no separate or teaching in isolation of pronunciation. That should be part of other. Yeah. If possible, the materials of pronunciation should provide sufficient and usable support for teachers. Yeah, there has to be answers to pronunciation exercises. Ya, kalau nggak ada ini susah. And there has to be teacher's manual and additional examples explaining the given feature in the exercise. So there has to be why for us teachers, if there is no guide for pronunciation, it is hard to answer and also to explain to students. Now, what about vocabulary? Yes, of course, vocabulary should also be part of our teaching materials, but of course, it can actually be part of listening and reading. Yeah. So vocabulary is one of the contributing factors in text comprehension. Yes, text can be spoken text, can be written text. That's why listening and reading. Yeah. So when you teach listening, when you teach reading, then vocabulary learning can be promoted. Yeah, yeah. Some explicit focus on vocabulary is required in materials. And when you develop reading materials, listening materials, and so on, there has to be a special task. Yeah, there has to be a section. Yeah, that focus on vocabulary. So that is in addition to focus on form, focus on grammar, and focus on vocabulary. Yeah. When you develop materials, vocabulary materials in text into reading, for example, the exercises over there need to focus on word frequency. Yeah, you need to focus on we call it this one high frequency words, and also an introduction to academic words, technical words, and low frequency words. Yeah, okay, not only high frequency words but also low frequency words. What do we mean by high frequency words? Of course, words that are used in almost everyday life. Yeah, and occur in all kinds of uses of the language. Low frequency, no. Yeah, not academic, not technical words for a particular subject. So low frequency yeah, it is rarely used in everyday life, but not part of the academic word and part of a special subject. So when you develop, is there anyone here, any group who develops materials for vocational high school? Nggak ada ya? Yeah, because
No, sir.
nggak ada. Now, if you develop materials for vocational high school, then you need to, when you develop the materials, vocabulary material, you need to focus on also technical words. Yeah, yeah, words related to their because if they are majoring in engineering, yeah, then there has to be an introduction to technical words over there. Word frequency and vocabulary size. Yeah, vocabulary size too. Yeah, you need to also give exercises so that the number of vocabulary that they have, yeah, the stock of vocabulary they have can increase. Yeah, and when you teach vocabulary, yeah, when you develop material for vocabulary building, then you should be able to link between vocabulary and grammar. Yeah, yeah. For example, we call it the derivation. For example, yeah, derivation is vocabulary learning, but it is also grammar aspect here. If you introduce the noun, verb, adverb, adjective, yeah, for a certain word, for example, you introduce that the word education is actually related to educate, educational, yeah, yes, education, educate, educational, yeah. There is no educative, ya, begitu. Contoh begitu ya. There is no adverb, education, educationally maybe, yeah, it can be, but it is very rare. So you also need to introduce that. Then you also need to introduce collocation, yeah, and lexical phrases. collocation is like everyday life phrase. Yeah, you also need to introduce that too. Yeah, so that they can distinguish between formal language and informal language. Yeah. Vocabulary learning materials in your task, when you develop materials for vocabulary learning, you need to recycle the vocabulary. What is that? Yeah, repeat the use of vocabulary. Yeah, jadi not one time show and then it's gone, but you need to also make sure that, for example, the vocabulary in exercises are also repeated, yeah, in other exercise, so that the students are exposed to vocabulary many times, and there is a possibility of retaining, yeah, the vocabulary in their memory. Yeah, make vocabulary work based on text. So this is important. Yeah, so based on text. Once again, teaching vocabulary, when you develop vocabulary materials, then it should be in text, yeah, with the text, yeah, listening and reading. Yeah, so this is an example taken from Mission, yeah, and Themis 2015. Yeah, the words in the box are taken from the text we just read. Divide the words in the box into two groups. Yeah, those that describe how a person thinks and those that describe someone's personality. Yeah. Ways of thinking, logical, emotional. Yeah. Ways of thinking, logical, emotional. Yeah. So you need to also create activities like this, for example. Yeah, depending on the text, of course. Yeah. Thank you. Grammar, possible ways. Yeah. So, of course, focus on grammar. Yeah. Possibly, if you want to develop grammar materials, of course, you should not return to the old way. What is the old way? Grammar translation method. Yeah, GTM. Yeah. As I said, earlier in the first meeting, if we refer to, I think last week I also showed you an example of an Indonesian book, yeah, when I was junior high school, that uses Indonesian language, yeah. So because one of the major principle is that the material should use L2 or target language, yeah. Okay. In that book, you will find that grammar is introduced deductively. Yeah, deductively. Yeah, that is one of the ways. Yeah, deductive. You introduce an example and then you explain the example. Yeah, this is similar to what happens in popular books of grammar. For example, what's the scraper, yeah, scramper, Betty Azar scramper, yeah, Betty Azar scramper. The example and then explanation, yeah. It's deductive, one of the ways. Other ways is inductive discovery activities. When you use this inductive discovery activities, you will usually refer to the text presented earlier. Yeah, you take the text, takes the part that becomes the focus of your attention, and then you decontextualize practice. Yeah, you give additional practice, but contextualizing. Ya, kalau tadi kan contextualize ini grammar items, for example, ya, karena based on the text and then you take it. Nah, and then further activities should be the decontextualization of the grammar items. Yeah, you can also introduce communicative practice. You can also introduce incidental focus on form during communicative task. So you can also introduce that one, yeah. But this one, it cannot be in materials. Yeah. Why? Because incidental. It depends on the interaction every day. Yeah. Okay. What happens? Yeah. Okay. Look. What happens? Grammar, possible ways. Okay. All right. Why? Let me exit this one. Yeah. Grammar. Oh yeah, that's the last possible ways. I don't provide further examples on grammar. Why? Because I think everyone is familiar with grammar materials, because that's a very popular. Yeah, when you ask somebody, what do we mean by learning English? Yeah, of course, everyone will say learning English means learning grammar. Yeah, I think that's a common understanding. Okay. Yeah, that's the first framework for developing language component. There are many other framework here. Yeah, and these frameworks are actually a part of your seniors work. Yeah, 2017 cohort, 2016 and 2015. Just to give you some idea, this is a framework for developing writing materials. Yeah, you can see name here. And then there is also framework for developing speaking materials. It happens that there is no name here, but these are the product of your senior, actually. Yeah. The products of your senior. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. A framework for developing speaking materials. And what is that? A framework for developing listening materials. You see, yeah. Framework for developing reading material. You see the name here. These are from 2017. Yeah, mostly from 2017. So 2017 cohort means your senior last year. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me open discussion on the framework of developing language components. Yang lain kan masih belum ini, masih belum saya buka begitu ya. Alright. Anything that you can ask? Yeah, you might be interested to raise the issue. Yeah. Has everyone included language components in their materials?
Sir,
Yes, Deva.
if we create a worksheet, which one is come first, the vocabulary or the grammar? If we make a worksheet, soal gitu.
Yep. Of course, I think you need to refer to the framework for developing language component. That is, it should be part of the text. Yeah, it should be part of the text. So your question whether pronunciation comes first or grammar comes first actually depends on the text that you write, yeah, for your materials. If you are beginning to write the listening, the spoken language materials, then I think you should include pronunciation first and then grammar second. Why? Because mostly the grammatical aspects, yeah, of course, the suggestion in the last slide on framework on language component is that you also need to include grammar aspect in communication too, yeah. But that can come late too, can come late, yeah. So pronunciation first, yeah. But it's also a matter of choice, yeah. When you, for example, have already developed listening materials, and then the follow-up activities include, for example, repeating the listening materials, becoming like a drill, for example, then you can focus on pronunciation very easily, yeah. You can focus on pronunciation very easily. And then when you follow up with, preparing students to produce a certain expression, for example, the expression for asking permission, for example, then this is when you need to introduce the structure, we call it, yeah, the expression. Each expression contains a certain structure, right? Yeah. So asking for permission, using a structure of can I, so can, and then may, and then so on, and then you can introduce the student to the grammar, yeah. So starting from pronunciation, because you introduce the drills, you're repeating the expression, and then you also introduce the students to the grammar. Not can I, but not can you, but can I, because this is asking for permission, yeah, and so on, yeah. So that is in spoken language. What about in written language? Yeah. If, for example, you introduce the written dialogue, written dialogue. That is why my comments on your search for commercial textbooks, was also centered around audio materials. You still remember that? Yeah. Yeah. Some of you got comments audio. Where do you have audio materials? Yeah. Why? Because audio materials are actually part and parcel. Yeah. My feedbacks on you, you sometimes forget that your KD always include lisan dan tulis. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
But in fact, when you develop materials, you always focus on written, text. Even when you your KD is interactional text, teks interaksi, melibatkan, meminta pendapat misalnya, you always focus on written dialogue. Padahal harusnya spoken dialogue dulu, baru written dialogue, ya, begitu. So once again, in spoken text, then of course you start directly to grammar, but you can also introduce vocabulary, too. Why? How can you produce written, because this is a written language, so we move on to written language. How can you produce such various sentences or expression without introducing vocabulary too? So this is one example of integrated materials. So one type of text, for example, can be exploited. This is the word that I think you should keep in your mind. Exploitation, text exploitation. What you did in the past 2 weeks was actually looking for materials. Honestly speaking, when I was giving you the task was what I mean by materials, are actually texts. Why? Because of the nature of our English curriculum. Our English curriculum uses text, and text, spoken text and written text, interactional text and non-interactional text. So text, and text. So I think your first job in developing material is to get these texts. Yeah, these texts can come in many forms. Yeah, for example, because these texts have been exploited in a commercial textbooks, yeah, you are lucky then. Why? Because you can just later adapt or maybe adopt the activities in that. But very few of you use authentic text in a sense that it is not part of the commercial textbooks. But still, you have to remember my answers to my comments to your answers when you discuss authenticity of your the result of your search for commercial textbook. Yeah, I said that, look, authenticity is a degree. Yeah, commercial textbooks published overseas, for example, also has a high, yeah, degree of authenticity. Yeah, as I said, by definition, of course, authenticity is everything that is not used for language purposes, language learning purposes. Yeah. But if we use that the definition, then everything is not authentic. Then we use. Yeah. That is why Trabelsi. That Trabelsi is also in a chapter in Azarnus 2016 et al. Yeah, Azarnus et al. 2016 has a chapter 13, that discusses about authenticity. That is why Trabelsi comes with the four approaches in looking at authenticity in English language learning, English language materials. In other words, the English language materials also have authenticity seen from different perspectives. Sometimes it is a trade-off. From the perspective of a native speaker, it has, or the materials have high authenticity. But if we see it from learner needs and interest perspective, it has low authenticity. It's always a trade-off like this. Yeah. So Deva, Melania, Deva, I think that's my answer. So
Yes, sir.
you can think of possible activities depending on your KD. That is why to think of indicators of your KD is important. To think of the indicators of your KD is important. So if possible, the KD can, the indicators can, what is
Can
it?
include all of them.
Can include that one, pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. How?
Yes.
It is as easy as this, Deva. Say, for example, you include an indicator like this, the KD of, for example, ini of menyusun teks interaksi lisan, meminta memberi informasi tentang informasi diri, tentang jati diri, for example. Your indicators can be, menirukan, ekspresi, menirukan ekspresi memberi informasi diri, dengan pronunciation yang tepat. Nah, gitu ya. Menirukan ekspresi, memberikan informasi jati diri dengan pronunciation yang tepat. Menirukan. Jadi harus ada input nanti. So there has to be an input, memberikan informasi tentang jati diri. Hai, I'm Munir, gitu. Hai, I'm Munir. Nah, gitu. Nah, Oke, syaratnya nanti di indikator itu harus dengan pronunciation yang tepat, ya. Jadi kalau siswanya nanti berlatih bunyi hi atau he, ya, he, I'm Munir. Nah, berarti kan nanti yang greetingnya itu ya, yang high itu kurang tepat gitu. Dan lain-lainnya ya begitu ya. Jadi kalau bisa dimasukkan itu. Nah, saya terus terang kan tidak menyentuh sama sekali di kelas ini. I haven't touched any issues on your indicators statement. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Let me ask UM students. Hello UM. Raise your hand, UM student that I know. Kan ada 3 ya. Halo. Nggak ada, nggak kelihatan. Raise your hand, please. Nggak ada. Oke. Okay. Laksmi, Laksmi itu siapa lagi nih? Anissa ya. Ya. Laksmi and Anissa, please tell me whether in UM you are also introduced to the importance of indicators in, for example, in assessment. Did you get a special discussion on how to develop indicators previously in UM? Anissa and Laksmi?
I think we did, sir, on English curriculum, but
okay.
I forgot.
You forgot, yeah. Was there any emphasis on a certain we call it a certain structure or pattern of developing indicators? Apakah dulu dikasih ini kalau ini emphasis namanya ya, kalau menyusun indikator itu harus A, B, C, D ya, ada audience, ada ini gitu diarahkan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, honestly speaking, you know, why do I always avoid talking about indicators? Yeah, because I have a different view. Really, I have a different view. Yeah. I don't follow ABCD. I follow yang penting indicators itu adalah clarity and unambiguity. Ya. Yang penting indikator itu jelas, ya, unambiguous, tidak ambigu, that's it. Yang penting itu gitu, ya. I follow Richards, for example, 2001 itu yang penting harus ada clear, unambiguous, ada nanti elicited performance, gitu ya. I think I did make, but I didn't share it here, ya. In this class, ya. Namanya indicators itu yang penting itu sebenarnya. Jadi tidak perlu harus istilahnya menyulitkan seseorang untuk menyusun indikator. Indikator itu kan sebenarnya kan yang penting bisa memberikan orientasi untuk learning materials and also assessment. Karena itu saya tidak banyak menyentuh itu. Yang penting jelas gitu ya. Ya. So if you add indicators like that in your KD on transaksi lisan minta memberi informasi tentang jati diri, for example, ya, the indicator is menirukan ekspresi ekspresi tentang mengucapkan memberi informasi tentang jati diri dengan pronunciation yang tepat. Nah, kayak gitu itu kan jelas ya. Jadi nanti kelihatannya ada drill. Repeat after me, begitu. Okay, thank you for the question. Jawaban saya panjang sekali gitu ya. Okay, any more reactions? You can type in your chat if you not 100% sure to say it, ya. So on the framework for developing pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar materials. Once again, the emphasis is they should be part of listening materials development, reading materials development, yeah, speaking materials development, and writing materials development. But the issue is, do we have all the three of them in listening? Of course not. I think you need to be selective ya. Kan memang ada unsur vocabulary-nya Pak, tapi ini namanya tidak berat, tidak besar. Oke, berarti bukan vocabulary-nya yang di-emphasis, nanti grammar-nya. Oh ini and so on and so forth. So I think you need to make such a decision. Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. So there is a question here. Indicator or learning objective ini. Okay, let me share something ya. Saya share saja ini ya. Coba ini. Let me share something in our yeah. Okay. All right. So just a second, please. Okay. Wait. Wait a second. I'm looking for a PowerPoint that I made to clarify that one.
Kalau ngomong itu juga masuk itu juga dibayar ya. Terus yang itu kena tapi itu juga dibayar ya.
Did modify. Okay, I think I'm looking for the PowerPoint in the wrong place. Okay, this one. Okay, let me open it. So I've just sent it to our WhatsApp groups. Yeah. Okay, good. So I will answer Jalu's question too very soon. All right. So can I have your attention on this? This is to tell you something about the confusion. Yeah. So UNES students in a chat room asked me, ask me the difference, maybe that's the idea, between indicators and objectives. Yeah. So yes, I think by having 3 different universities in the same room, we understand, we know what is actually the topics, the discourse in UNES and and also UNESA. As I said earlier, I'm particularly a person who is not 100% who shares the same ideas with some of most of us. So for example, in terms of the word objectives and indicators, I always mention, indicators are similar to objectives. What is the rationale here? Of course, the rationale comes from the theory, the concepts of curriculum, of course, and syllabus. So this is can you see it? Goals, objective, and syllabus frameworks. Can you? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good.
sir.
Oke, aims sama dengan equals goals or competency. Ya, ya. Itu nanti saya kasih tanda tanya ya. Yes, aims, goals, or competency. So if you refer to books on curriculum development in language teaching, Richards, for example, 2001, I think that book is very good, comprehensive, because I think up to now similar book hasn't been published, and nggak tahu punya bukunya itu enggak, Richards 2001, judulnya adalah Curriculum Development in Language Teaching. Pernah baca? Ya, yang UM, yang kurikulum itu pakai apa kurikulum bukunya? Yang dibaca apa bukunya?
Kebetulan ini Pak, textbooknya yang menulis ada referensi pakai Richards itu, mungkin sepertinya ada.
Oh iya, oke. Bagus lah ya. So sebenarnya kan the problem is in the framework ya. So the problem is in the framework. The framework that we use, honestly speaking, sebenarnya framework itu ada ada berapa itu? Ada sih, ya. Syllabus framework itu macam-macam, ada 10 syllabus framework ya. Ada grammatical syllabus. Nah, pertanyaan utamanya, Pak, ini kurikulum apa silabus, Pak? Begitu ya. Harus tahu sejarahnya. Kapan kurikulum in language teaching itu ada ya? Curriculum in language teaching ya. Jadi atau language curriculum ya, only came into existence in the 1980s lah ya. Tahun 80-an baru ada kata kurikulum. Previously yang dipakai adalah kata syllabus. That's one definition. Another definition is that syllabus itu British ya. Kalau American itu adalah curriculum. Nah, begitu. Jadi cuma harus tahu aja. Nah, to make it complex ya, because of the public what do you call that one, the inclusion of English as part of the we call it core ya, core skills ya, karena sekarang bahasa Inggris masuk core skills gitu ya. So there is what is it, confusion between school curriculum and English curriculum. Ya, let me put in bahasa Indonesia to make it easier. Jadi memang kurikulum bahasa Inggris, apakah kurikulum bahasa Inggris, apakah silabus bahasa Inggris itu kadang-kadang itu kalau di buku itu ya, termasuk yang dijelaskan di dalam Brown and Lee itu. Brown and Lee itu apa ya, buku ya, judulnya Teaching by Principles itu ya. Ini adalah versi Amerika itu kurikulum ya, versi Inggris itu silabus gitu. Nah, tapi katanya Richard, kurikulum in language teaching itu baru ada tahun 80-an gitu. Kata-kata itu pun baru kata-kata tahun 80-an baru ada definisi. Orang Amerika lebih suka pakai kata kurikulum. Orang Inggris lebih suka pakai kata syllabus, begitu ya. Tapi dengan adanya sekarang kurikulum sekolah dan kurikulum pelajaran, nah, maka namanya kurikulum pelajaran ya, English kurikulum ya, namanya silabus gitu. Nah, kurikulum sekolah ya itu kurikulum sekolah. Lu apa bedanya? Beda. Kurikulum sekolah itu yang mengatur sekolah ini ya. Jadi misalnya pelajarannya apa saja yang diajarkan dan lain-lainnya begitu nanti. Nah, di kurikulum Indonesia kurikulum 2013 itu kurikulum sekolah. Nah, di dalamnya ada kan yang kalau di permen itu kan ada yang kecil-kecil yang saya berikan ke kalian di ini ya, misalnya yang pandemi begitu ya. Itu silabus itu namanya. Gampangnya begitu. Nah, macam-macam silabus itu ada frameworknya. Disusun secara bagaimana ya. Kalau silabusnya itu disusun dengan salah satu dari 10 ini ya tentu saja beda nanti ininya, dalamnya gitu ya. Nah, silabus yang ini yang teks ya. Teks ini mana ya? Teks silabus ini ya, teks silabus ya. Ya. Itu yang ada di Indonesia. Tetapi Indonesia enggak text-based syllabus saja. Kenapa? Di dalam KD kita ada situation, ya. Ada fungsi bahasa juga, ya. Jadi di Indonesia itu namanya integrated syllabus, ya. Jadi silabusnya atau kurikulum bahasa Inggrisnya di Indonesia itu, ya, itu integrated. Gado-gado, dalamnya ada apa saja, begitu, ya. Nah, indikator itu adalah salah satu dari pecahan dari kompetensi, ya. Kompetensi itu apabila kurikulumnya berbasis ini namanya kurikulum berbasis kompetensi itu selalu nanti di dalamnya ada indicators, ya. Ya. Jadi kompetensi refer to observable behaviors dan lain-lainnya begitu. Jadi in other words, ya, kalau aims atau goals di non competency based curriculum itu disebut aims atau goals. Kalau di competency based curriculum, ya, itu disebut dengan kompetensi, ya. Oke. Nah, kalau aims and goals itu biasanya turunannya adalah objectives. Nah, kalau menggunakan istilah competence, turunannya adalah indicators, ya. Jadi kedua-duanya adalah sama-sama learning outcome kedua-duanya. Jadi objektif itu sama dengan indicator. Cuma ininya saja yang berbeda begitu, ya. Frameworknya aja yang berbeda, ya. Jadi begitu ya, yang UNES, ya. Jadi kalau saya ngomong indicators ini, oh itu sama dengan objektif itu. Ya, honestly speaking, ya, di Indonesia ini kan membingungkan semua orang di Indonesia ini, ya. Di Indonesia itu karena kurikulumnya tadi integrated, gado-gado, sementara orang-orangnya itu, guru-gurunya itu tidak punya ini konsep yang kuat, ya, akhirnya bingung begitu, ya. Nah, kebetulan UNES itu kan ada nama-nama besar, Bu Helena. Tahu kalian pernah diajar Bu Helena, ya, yang UNES? Enggak, ya?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet, sir.
Bu Helena itu berarti sudah pensiun, Bu Helena memang gitu, ya. Bu Helena Agustin itu, ya. Itu. Jadi kalau istilahnya apa ya, pengaruh besar Bu Helena itu kan di kurikulum 2004, ya, sampai ini. Jadi text based itu membawa text based ke Indonesia itu kan ya Bu Helena dan teman-teman. Karena itu Pak Widi, ya, Kajur, ya, UNES itu kan juga salah satu yang itu. Jadi SFL, ya, istilahnya berkecimpung di bidang systemic functional linguistic begitu, ya. Jadi ada nama-nama besar itu. Nah, back to the indicators and objectives, yes, they are the same, ya. They are the same. Oke, once again kalau saya bilang tulis itu indikatornya apa begitu, ya. Ini you need to write the objectives, ya. Nah, itu di Indonesia seperti itu, ya, Indonesia, ya. Jadi indikator yang dipakai istilahnya untuk objectives, ya. Nah, back to Jalu's question. Jalu asked me whether one material should focus only one language skill, or one material can cover more than one language skill. Okay, the issue is skills, ya. Tadi saya di framework, salah satu framework saya yang syllabus itu ada namanya skills, ya, base syllabus, ya, framework yang di PowerPoint saya yang tadi. Nah, Indonesia itu nggak skills base syllabus, ya, sekali lagi integrated. Loh, tapi ada skillsnya di sana di KD kita itu. Apa? Menyusun, ya toh, menyusun teks interaksi lisan. Itu apa? Kalau menyusun teks interaksi lisan itu apa? Skill apa? Speaking. Menyusun teks recount, tulis.
Writing.
Menangkap makna teks lisan. Apa itu?
Listening.
Listening,
Reading.
menangkap makna teks tulis.
Not reading.
Reading, artinya ada di sana, gitu, ya. Artinya ada di sana, Jalu, ya. Jadi pertanyaannya, lo materi kita apa? Lah, nah sekarang inilah waktunya, ya. Apa? Buktikan gitu loh bahwa kalian itu memahami KD. KD kalian itu selalu ada lisan dan tulis, jangan lupa ya. Ya apa enggak? Halo? Halo?
Ya Pak. Ya.
KD-mu ada, coba bunyikan, bacakan sekarang KD-mu coba.
Bentar Pak, saya cari saya dulu.
Nggak hafal ya, hafal lah gitu kan gampang. KD yang panjang gitu ya, itu kan tahu intinya itu apa, teks interaksi apa, ini fungsi bahasa apa, kan gitu intinya. Sakjane gitu ya, bahasa. Ini ya, orang Semarang tahu sakjane nggak tahu?
Tahu, Sir.
Tahu ya sakjane ya.
Iya.
Jadi intinya cuma gitu KD itu. Nah, KD kita itu KD undang-undang ya. Bahasanya bahasa undang-undang. Nah, syaratnya objektif yang baik itu clear and unambiguous. Jadi kalau nulis indikator nanti atau nulis objektif itu ya harus jelas itu. Jangan panjang sampai kita nggak ngerti maksudnya begitu. Nah, Jalu sudah ketemu Jalu. KD-nya apa lu? Jalu. Nggak tahu ya. Yang jelas hampir semuanya ada lisan dan tulis ya. Ya, oke. Nah, kalau semuanya ada lisan dan tulis, berarti nanti apa? Berarti ada ini, ada itu. Loh iya berarti. Berarti ada listening-nya, ada speaking-nya, ada reading-nya, ada writing-nya. Tapi apa? In a broad sense, dalam arti yang luas gitu ya. Dalam arti yang luas. Ya. Nah, yang specific reading itu sebenarnya KD yang saya sebutkan tadi. Kalau menangkap makna teks lisan dan tulis, berarti itu nanti adanya spesifik gitu ya. Itu listening and apa? Reading. Ya. Kalau menangkap makna teks tulis, teks lisan misalnya itu listening, menangkap makna teks tulis ya berarti reading. Menyusun teks lisan speaking, menyusun teks tulis writing. Ya itu yang sangat spesifik begitu. Jadi kebetulan kalau dapat KD-KD gitu berarti sudah jelas itu nanti kalau KD-nya menyusun teks lisan dan tulis ya berarti nanti fokusmu harusnya nanti fokus ya sekali lagi harusnya nanti speaking dan writing. Nah, of course the issue is ya masa ini anak itu langsung mengeluarkan ini memproduksi speaking tanpa ada input ya. Nah, coba kita lihat di frameworknya itu ya. Frameworknya kalau listening misalnya ini sekali lagi ini kan saya mengenalkan framework ya tujuannya pertemuan hari ini ya. Framework yang speaking mana ini speaking ini nih speaking ya framework speaking ya. Ya. Nah, ya material for speaking ini ya, itu provided with input ya. Jadi kalau ngajar speaking, ya materi speaking nggak ada listeningnya ya susah. Kenapa? Harus ada model gitu loh. Ya. Harus itu. Ini example of speaking materials from a textbook ya. Atau nanti spoken ini audio recording of ini conversation yang akan kita latihkan ke siswa itu harus ada. Jadi no matter what kalau ngajar listening ya kalau ngajar speaking itu ya ini materi speaking ya diawali dengan ini. Jadi ini contoh itu. Jadi ini listening a friendly chat di sini karena speakingnya fokusnya adalah reacting to what you hear. Jadi nanti apa speak up ya. agreeing tuh. Jadi ini speaking strateginya. Jadi contoh yang di sini ini berarti ini speakingnya itu adalah to agree or disagree, to express agreement. Contoh di sini ini ya. Ya. Jadi kalau di various speaking materials should consider ada accuracy, fluency, and complexity. Ya. Jadi kalau speaking activity yang disarankan di framework ini kalau ada task based. Ya. Oke. Jadi sekali lagi ini kalau fokus pada speaking. Nah, kalau fokus pada writing bagaimana? Fokus pada writing ya. Kan tadi kan kalau to develop ini menyusun teks lisan, speaking, menyusun teks tulis, writing ya. Gimana kalau writing ya? Ya. Jadi should be clear models. Nah, ini number 4 ini. Jadi harus ada model. Ya. Harus ada modelnya dulu. Artinya kalau writing harus ada readingnya dulu ya. Nggak serta-merta orang itu nulis gitu. Anak-anak ya harus ada dikasih model terlebih dahulu ya. Jadi karena itu kalau logisnya sebenarnya ketika KD-nya itu menyusun teks lisan dan tulis ya. Nah, itu logisnya itu ya ada ininya, ada input ya. Untuk writing inputnya adalah berupa model text reading. Kalau untuk speaking inputnya adalah model teks model spoken language-nya yang ada di yang akan mereka dengarkan begitu. Ya, Jalu. Jadi jawabannya iya tergantung KD-nya. Tapi sudah saya contohkan tadi kalau KD menyusun teks lisan dan tulis ya itu harus ada input yang berupa listening ya untuk dijadikan model untuk speaking, harus ada input berupa model teks itu untuk dari reading ya untuk dijadikan model untuk writing gitu.
Yes, sir. Jadi sudah ketemu.
Apa nama judaannya? Akademu apa?
Ini, sir, membedakan sisi sosial, struktur teks, dan berdasarkan beberapa teks eksposisi, analisis, lisan, dan tulis.
Nah, jadi teks eksposisi, analitis, lisan, dan tulis gitu. Jadi kalau teks eksposisi, lisan, dan tulis berarti nanti kan fokusnya di sini adalah ini listening sama apa ini? Sama reading gitu. Kenapa kan cuma membedakan aja itu ini. Ya, jadi tidak menyusun. Kalau menyusun kan nanti arahnya kan nanti ke speaking dan writing. Ini kebetulan kamu cuma membedakan itunya dari teks lisan, eksposisi, membedakan ini dan lain-lainnya. Jadi ada beberapa. Jadi kamu kalau bunyi beberapa di situ nanti model teksnya itu yang didengarkan harus beberapa loh. Beberapa itu berapa? Beberapa itu berapa?
More than one.
Ya, more than one gitu. Jadi 2 misalnya gitu membedakan. Apa sih fungsi sosial itu? Fungsi sosial tujuan ya. Namanya purpose of a text itu. Orang nulis ini, kamu ngechat ke saya di sini tujuannya apa? Bertanya. Ya, oke. Begitu tujuan. Kemudian apa? Text structure, struktur teks ya. Ya, struktur teks itu. Ya, kalau mau nulis itu sebenarnya harus apa dulu itu namanya struktur teks. Kemudian language feature. Nah, ini yang ini ciri khususnya apa gitu. Ya, biasanya ciri khusus itu diarahkan ke apa? Ke kosakata begitu. Ya. Jalu. Kalau orang Islam itu, kalau ini, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya ayyuhal muslimun, ittaqullah haqqa tuqatih. Ini orang Islam ya. Kamu bisa nggak menerka? Ini saja sebenarnya teks apa ini? Ini lagi-lagi. Ini bagian dari apa? Bagian dari ini kuliah? Ataukah bagian dari ini khutbah Jumat, ataukah ini bagian dari pembicaraan di warung kopi?
Wah, khutbah Jumat.
Khutbah Jumat. Kenapa ada ciri kayak tadi? Cirinya apa? Ittaqwa haqqa tuqati ya gitu. Nah, dalam orang Islam itu namanya ada rukun Jumat. Itu rukun itu teks, struktur teks gitu, rukun. Ya. Ya, rukun itu sama dengan struktur teks. Jadi urutannya apa gitu. Orang nulis surat izin itu biasanya ya harus ada ininya dulu, tanggalnya, kemudian kepadanya, gitu itu namanya struktur teks. Nah, of course the issue is ya yang aneh ya. Ini mungkin teman-teman UNES bisa ini menceritakan ya. UNES kan teks senternya di sana teks bis. UM juga bisa silakan lah. UNES ya tentu saja. Lucunya di kita itu apa? Masa interaksi itu ada struktur teksnya, ya teks structure, ya struktur teks dari teks interaksi. Gimana struktur teksnya dari teks interaksi? Meminta memberi informasi tentang jati diri. Ya. Nah, ini yang saya kira salah kaprah begini ya. Jadi kalau interaksi itu bukan struktur teks ya, tapi namanya sequence of interaction. Jadi namanya sequence ya. Sequence itu urutan. Maksudnya gini, orang kalau misalnya ini namanya speech act ya. Speech act-nya ini apa? Speech act orang minta tolong itu masa langsung minta tolong? Kan pasti begini. Permisi Pak gini. Nah, ada kata permisi. Ya, kamu mau pinjam sepeda motor. You want to borrow your friend's motorcycle. You would ask something a prologue like this, you know. Nggak kemana-kemana nanti jam 1 kan gitu. Nggak langsung, aku mau pinjamnya, enggak gitu. Nah, ini namanya sequence of interaction atau sequence of conversation. Baru ada main purpose, baru nanti closing, kayak begitu itu. Oke. Ya. Baik, sebentar ini saya ada problem sedikit dengan ini ya. So, ini saya minta ini kalian saya tutup dulu ini kelas ini ya di Google Meet ini ya. Saya minta kalian dengan kelompoknya masing-masing ya itu mempelajari framework itu ya, mempelajari framework itu ya, framework yang tadi yang belum saya buka tadi kan ada framework yang untuk listening, framework yang untuk writing, sudah saya buka ya, framework untuk reading dan lain-lainnya begitu. Dipelajari kemudian sekarang hubungkan dengan rencana itu, proyekmu itu ya. Kan kebetulan kan enggak semuanya ini, tapi kalau di kelompokmu kan pasti ada semuanya itu ya. So please work in group to discuss the framework and then to reflect on your plan tadi, on your plan on the KD yang kemarin sudah buat kemarin. Kan kemarin sudah membuat itu. Ada indikatornya apa, kemudian materialnya apa, kemudian link to the commercial textbook-nya apa, kemudian dibuka-buka gitu. Nah, ini kira-kira materi saya nanti bisa memenuhi framework ini apa enggak ya? Gitu dan lain-lainnya begitu ya. Paham maksud saya? Ya? Halo?
Sir, berarti ini group discussion tentang framework ya?
Betul gitu. Tentang framework, kemudian tapi tujuannya apa? Tujuannya cuma refleksi ke planmu yang dulu yang di meet number 3 itu ya. Pertemuan 3 itu kan mengerjakan itu ya. Yang ada linknya, kemudian saya komentari kurang audio dan lain-lainnya itu loh. Nah, refleksi ke sana. Kira-kira ini milik saya ini sudah memenuhi framework ini apa enggak ya kira-kira nanti ya. Kalau kurang memenuhi berarti nanti kira-kira apa yang bisa saya lakukan ya begitu. Itu dibahas di grup ini ya, di masing-masing grup gitu ya. Jadi waktu kita 1 jam ini untuk begitu ya. Nanti kalau sudah siap nanti silakan nanti nulis reportnya di situ di di WhatsApp ya. Nah, gitu. Buat report gitu ya. Report maksudnya gini, cerita gitu loh ya. Jadi tidak masing-masing ya, tetapi adalah perwakilan kelompok itu. Ini kan kelompoknya ada berapa ya? So do we have 5 or 6 groups di sini? 5 ya? Halo? Halo?
Sepertinya 7, Sir.
7 ya, berarti ada 7 groups itu. Nanti yang nulis salah satu dari bukan salah satu, masing-masing kelompok itu, tapi yang nulis satu orang aja hasil diskusinya ya Pak. Gimana cerita? Nampaknya kelompok kami ini ya, framework yang ini kami merasa bahwa yang ini rencana kami yang KD ini kurang framework, ini nggak sesuai framework ini, akan kami ini kan dan lain-lainnya begitu. Itu hasil diskusinya begitu nanti gitu ya. Oke?
Alright, sir.
Ya, oke. Please, nanti kira-kira pertanyaan saya, kalian nanti kerja kelompoknya itu bagaimana? Saya cuma tanya saja. Kalian sudah punya WhatsApp grup sendiri-sendiri masing-masing kelompok kan?
Sudah, sir.
Oh, sip.
Sudah.
Ya, sip. Berarti nanti tinggal melaporkan aja di ini. Paling supaya gampang mungkin kalau ngetik di WhatsApp kan repot gitu ya. Ketik aja di dulu di Word atau yang lain gitu, kemudian baru nanti di copy paste kan di ini atau di attach kan di WhatsApp grup kita nanti begitu ya, hasil diskusinya begitu ya. Oke? Sekali lagi diskusinya itu refleksi ya. Refleksi itu ya, oh iya saya kurang ini atau ini. Oh iya saya sudah gini dah. Wong itu loh dalam rangka mengerjakan proyek kita saja. Baik begitu ya. Jadi sebagaimana rencana saya memang akan ada kegiatan kelompok begini. Jadi kuliah kita yang enggak seluruhnya 3,5 jam itu semuanya pakai Google Meet begitu ya. Oke, thank you. Please go to your groups, WhatsApp groups, and then discuss, reflect on this framework and reflect on how your plan. Nah, berarti kan masing-masing punya ini. How your plan in meeting 3 can meet the frameworks of developing listening, speaking, reading, and language components materials. Okay, thank you so much. I will need to close this session, and then you can continue working in WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.